All right. Hello, everyone. I guess it's afternoon for me. I guess it's afternoon for everybody, right? Kind of
Yeah.
scattered out all over the world. Welcome to today's We Don't Know What the Name Is Yet podcast. And we're going to be discussing that a little bit. Maybe get some feedback from you guys and see what we should name this podcast. But I'm going to introduce everybody, introduce myself first a little bit. And then then everybody can kind of add to the introduction of themselves. But my name is Ryan Jones. Been trading since 1987. I took my first trade in 1987. I was 16 years old. Long story short, there are two things in life that I hate. The first is losing, and the second is losing. Yes. So I hate losing, and I lost money on my first trade. So that kind of just propelled me into the wide world of option. The first trade I actually took was buying Phillips stock options. And we can get into the story, at some point later, but either today or in another podcast. But long story short is I ended up learning everything, teaching myself everything about option trading, everything about the markets, everything about money management, trade size, et cetera, et cetera. I started my own business in 1992, so just 5 years later, at the age of 23, I think, and started with a newsletter. Started building some programs. Wrote a book on compounding, and here we are, still going strong today. So that's me. We can talk more about that later. To my left is Ben. Oh man, you know what I should have done, Ben?
What's that?
I should have gotten the UFC voiceover to announce you.
Oh, you bring in the whole. Was it Bruce Buffer? Is the guy who does that?
Yeah. Ben Sanchez, he's one of our big traders, and when I say big, okay, yeah, I mean big. He's kind of big, right?
What are you?
NFL middle linebacker.
6'3", on a good day.
6'3", expert martial artist, and wannabe trader. So
yeah, I tried. I've tried for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
It's been a rough ride.
How long you been
in futures?
How long you been with us, Ben? 19. I mean, not 19.
It feels like an eternity now, right?
It's like 2015, 2014.
No, I want to say 16.
Oh, 2016.
Yeah, it was a little bit after that.
Okay.
I actually in 2015 I was ballroom dancing, so I know it was after that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna make fun of you on that one.
Yeah, I was a ballroom
absolutely.
dancer. I was killing it on the floor, killing it.
Oh man,
that's actually
something
how
I don't ever want to see. I don't ever want to see it.
Got a little rumba going. It was definitely an interesting time in my life. I'll tell you that. But yeah, definitely good times. But yeah, I've been with the company for a good going on a decade now, and honestly, I guess I kind of orbit what's going on and just input myself when things need to get fixed. So
yep.
And here we are. And trading has always been one of those adventures you stay on. You never come off. You're on it for different vehicles. For me, it was futures. I did futures for a long time. I still love futures. In fact, I was trading a little bit of Bitcoin today. But yeah, futures, options, obviously, stocks. Stocks were interesting for me early on, but I've always gravitated towards leveraging my money better. And options and futures have always been my game. And that's how I kind of stumbled across you years ago. And here we are today.
And here we are today.
That's right.
And above me is Chad. Chad, you want to, how long have we known each other?
Gosh, Ryan, is 20 years a good number or longer?
I think 2004, 2005 is probably a good bet on that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And we've had some adventures.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think I reached out to Ryan about 20 years ago, and I was really interested in more advanced money management. And Ryan literally wrote a book on it. And so I'm like, I want to go meet this guy. And we struck up a friendship. I actually went out to an event you did 20 years ago, 22, 3 years ago in Colorado Springs.
Yep.
If that even rings a bell.
Yep.
So we struck up a friendship and learned a lot from you, and we did a few other things throughout the years. And then I think about 10 years ago, I came on to work with you and do some things, and we've done a lot of various things.
Yep. Yep. Including getting invited to a Super Bowl.
Dang.
Oh yeah.
Getting
50
invited
yard
to a Super
line.
Bowl, 50-yard line in the box. I'm sitting by, who was I sitting by? Who was that guy?
Nick Lachey
Nick
and his
Lachey.
wife. Yeah.
No.
The,
Wife was not there. They were,
she was
I
not
don't think
there.
they were a thing at that point.
Okay, yeah.
But no, I was sitting by Nick Lachey.
Yep.
And come to find out, we go free. We're invited by a firm out of Chicago,
Right.
and come to find out we paid for it.
Amen.
Gotcha.
In a movie. We'll talk about a movie later.
Well, I'm sure we'll
Clearly,
get
that's
into
not
that.
a joke.
It's not a
So,
joke. It's not a joke. We'll probably get into that at some point later. But Chad's been with me for quite a while. And then the newest person on the team is Spring. She's over here, right there. Spring, how long have we known each other?
30 plus years.
30 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how have you done it, Spring? How have you done it?
You know, a lot of prayer. A lot of binge eating.
Just ignore him. I think it's probably best, right? He didn't say anything.
No respect. So Spring, how long have you been with the company?
Well, it's hard to say because I did a little here and there during college, and then I officially full-time came on board in 2019. So
6 years. 6 years. And you are learning about the markets, learning about business, and have quite the handle on everything in your own right. So
yes, I'm a little mini manager.
A little
who cannot help but micromanage everyone.
Yes. A little mini manager. So yeah, I guess I'll claim her. I guess. My youngest daughter. Spring, everyone give her a hand.
Round of applause.
All right, so that's just a short introduction on everybody. I'm sure we'll get into backgrounds and histories and all sorts of stories as we move through here. What do we want to achieve with this podcast? Quite frankly, we're kind of open. I'm kind of open. I want, personally, what I want to do is I want to make trading a reality for people. I don't want to necessarily pump up trading like this. Oh, everybody's going to get rich, and if you just buy these options or buy this stock or learn this strategy or whatever, there's reality that's involved, and I think that the reality for me can be conveyed accurately through simple discussions like this, where we're not marketing anything necessarily, although we've got a TradeHound.AI background.
It's subtle.
Totally subtle. That's totally a subtle background. But I think that if we can make trading a little bit more real than what is out there, I think that's kind of what my goal is beyond here. What do you think? What do you guys think? What are we trying to achieve with this podcast? So this is number one. If you're brand new, this is the first one we've ever done. And it might show by the quality of how we're doing it. I don't know.
We'll look back on this years from now, like, oh my gosh, that's how
right. We're like,
he still had dark hair.
Right.
Who still has dark hair?
Right, I was about to say, who's
a little pepper in all of you. All of you
That's
have
okay.
some
I've got the silver fox, man. I'm okay with what I got going on. I'm all right.
Chad's winning right now.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
I think Chad is the youngest of the three of us. Or no, you're not. No.
Ben, I think
Ben just stresses more.
Are you a year taller than me?
Right? I've been graying since I was 15, man.
Oh yeah.
That's okay though. No wrinkles, so I'm all right.
There you go.
But to answer your question though, right now, I think a lot of the psychology, obviously, you hear about that constantly.
Absolutely.
they're like, oh, well, I got in a trade, stop me out, or I don't know how to do this, or don't know how to do that, or I was up so much X amount of dollars and now I'm break even or I lost. Psychology plays a big role in trading. And I think if we can at least give people an idea of what's going on in our heads, and how we tackle our trades, how we tackle our losses, especially drawdowns, and how we trade out of that, it can give people a little bit of a different perspective, especially if you're just starting. It's one of those, adventures. Again, you get on trading and it's never ending, but it's almost an abusive relationship because it almost seems like trading takes more than it gives you. Um, but
Kind of
if
like
we,
golf.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Right, yeah, actually, yeah. But yeah, I think given that additional perspective from other traders, as opposed to, somebody who's saying that, yeah, I've made X amount of dollars, I'm rich, you're not, it's like, oh, good for you,
mhm.
guy, but what about me? So,
Yeah.
you're gonna hear always the truth in terms of what's going on in my trading. If I'm having a bad week or whatever, you're gonna hear it. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
the good
Well, I
weeks
think
take care of themselves.
what's fun about how you guys approach trading is you take care of the little man. So like there's all these people, oh, I have X amount of dollars and they have so much to do. So they have liquidity and uh, they can just do whatever they want and experiment on trades. But there are some people that start out with 5 grand. And this is for everyone. You can have a huge account or you can have 5 grand and you're not left out. You can actually learn how to change your circumstances. And I think that is a really powerful piece to the puzzle that you guys
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. So that kind of dovetails right in the options for profits course that
Mhm.
Mhm.
I have not finished yet,
Mhm.
but eventually we'll get done. So, oh yeah, good,
Been
good.
84 years.
Has it been 4 years since I started that?
No,
No,
it's been a
no.
year,
It's only been
probably a
Okay.
little more than a
2.
year.
Goodness.
I'll get to it. I have a plan. I have a plan to drop the next lesson next week. So
Woo.
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
right. All
Anyone
right.
watching, hold him to it.
All right.
Mhm.
Chad, what do you think?
Um, I think I think my goal, or hopefully our intention, would be to to really just try to help people.
Yeah,
Um, and so that can come in so many different ways. So I've had the um, honor of meeting a lot of different traders all over the world, and everybody's different. I've never met one that's exactly alike.
isn't that the
So
truth?
do you find that to be true, Ryan?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
One shoe does not fit all, and I you hit on something pretty important there actually, because a lot of people will see a strategy, and they'll see somebody else making money with it, and they can't make money with it.
Right.
And there's all sorts of reasons that are behind that, and we'll go into some of those reasons. It's kind of, some of it might even be psychological and whatnot. But
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a group of guys that are going in through what's called an inner circle,
Yeah.
and I got an email from one of the guys. They're all doing really well actually, but one of the guys, I got an email, I don't know, 3 days ago, making $20,000 a week is what he's
Wow.
averaging.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then you've got, another one who's basically trading from the same principles, same, basic trading logic,
Mhm.
who isn't, doing anything more than a thousand, 1,500 a week. And maybe it's
Okay,
not
so
consistent on a weekly, maybe
That's
it's
a
more
great side
monthly.
hustle.
why, just as a general thought,
Mhm.
would you think that they're coming from the same perspective? Why is it so different? Because that's a
Well, no,
drastic difference.
knowing the two people that I'm referring to, it's going to be experience and the amount of
Mm,
money that they're able to risk.
mm,
Is so one is absolutely trading, you know, a much bigger trade size than the other one,
mm.
and uh, doesn't. How should I say this? Because when people have an account, it's usually not the only money they've got. There are some that will start with a $5,000 account like you have, and that's all they've got. And you have to be really careful if that's all
Yeah.
you've got, right? And so
Yeah.
some may have, you have two people with $100,000 accounts, one of them may have, $5 million real estate portfolio over here, and the other one may have 200,000 in IRA, and this is all they've got for their retirement. They're going to trade those two accounts very differently.
Mhm.
So that just goes off, what you were saying, Chad, on different traders.
Yeah, if you're
So
looking at the P&L for the week, right? And you've got a smaller account. And even if you're down, I don't know, 1% on 5 grand, yeah, it's not so bad. But the larger number can scare people. And then if it's all the money that you have, 1% still sucks, you know,
yeah,
and it bites more. And we tell all new traders too, anyone that's kind of starting their journey. Yeah, if you're starting with a smaller account, you gotta make sure that trade size is small, because if you get too big too soon, that psychology, man, is going to creep in every
And I
time.
yeah,
think that's lots of people think, oh, it'll be fine. I'm going to start with 25 lot when they should only be starting with one because they think they're so experienced, which I'm sure they are. It's just when it's a different approach, you just don't know what the market's going to
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. And you talk to them, and that's
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you can tell which ones are going to be like, whatever. I'm going to do it what I
I'm
want.
gonna
And then
do
there's
it
some,
anyway.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Coachable versus non-coachable.
these guys often learn what asymmetrical leverage is pretty quickly.
Right.
And which is you start with a 25 lot, you've got experience, or I'll tell you what, a big one, a psychology thing, is that we've got, airline pilots, attorneys, doctors, businessmen, et cetera, they are super successful in what they're doing, super smart, pedigree up here, and they bring that, and they're like, you know what, I'm successful in everything else.
Right.
No reason I shouldn't be successful here. So I'm going to start off with 500,000, and how much ever I can risk on a $500,000 account, and then they're not successful, and it surprises them. So I always tell people, listen, you're successful. You can be successful in trading, obviously, but I'm not going to have a successful airline pilot come in and try to do brain surgery on me. I don't care how smart the guy is. I don't care how much education he has. I don't care how much money he has. Right. So you have to pay your dues. You have to learn. You have to be educated. Period. End of story. Some people, like myself, I learn more by doing than I do by reading. And I get it, but do it small. Right.
Right.
Which is kind of one of our mantras. I mean, over and over and over in the course material, in the live trade calls, and in my book. It's start small, prove
Yeah.
yourself, and I think that's a great principle that everybody, even experienced traders, if you're starting off with something new, you're new at this strategy, you should start small, and then as your account grows, as you prove that you can make money with it, then you increase trade size based on proper algorithms that we also go over quite often.
Oftentimes if we get an inquiry from somebody asking, just that trade size or what have you, I always tell them, assume that you're starting at the peak of a drawdown. Like
Yeah.
you're starting right when it's going to go into a loser, and you got to ride it through the trough into recovery, because you just don't know when that's going to happen. I mean, you can guesstimate it, especially if you have any kind of back testing knowledge of the strategy, but assuming that you're gonna go in and trade and hopefully get a winner right out the gates is pretty foolish. Often you just have to assume you're gonna lose, and if you do, okay, but you know that the system is sound, you know that your principles are sound and why you took the trade. But oftentimes I think people really go in with that bigger than they should have head in terms of their confidence, and
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
kind of
See, but
falls
that
flat.
psychology doesn't work with someone like Ryan,
What are you
who
talking about?
hates to lose.
Yeah.
There's only two things you hate in this world, to lose and to lose. So how do you reconcile that mindset with
How
someone
do you
like
get past that, Ryan?
You got to get really good at it. You got to get really good
uh,
at losing.
well, I'll tell you what you do is you focus more on higher winning percentages. That's the only way.
That-
If you've got that issue like I have,
Yeah.
and I was just talking to a group, I don't know, last week, I think, where this came up, where I know my psychology, my makeup is that I hate losing. And so
Right.
if I do a 50-50, and we have to talk about statistics too,
Right.
because it's so important. A 50-50 strategy that has an average win twice the size of the average loss
Right.
is just as profitable as a 75% winner with 1-1 win-loss ratio. It's
Right.
exactly the same.
Mhm.
And the question is, can you do it? Can you follow it? Can you lose on half your trades? And another thing is that if you have 50-50, you have a much higher probability of having a string of losses
Yeah.
that you're going to have to trade through.
And you're going to quit. Most people quit.
Most people quit. I can't do it. I've tried. I cannot do a 50-50 strategy.
Yeah.
I have a mental block.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say, it's real. So I
Like the
focus
adrenaline.
on high probability. What?
You like the
What?
adrenaline. It's a good thing you don't gamble.
Oh, I won't so much as put a nickel in a slot machine.
Yeah. Like what Ryan's saying, there's nothing wrong with a 50-50, 2-1,
Exactly.
3-1. You've just gotta learn to be a loser. Like mentally, it's tough. You gotta get in the ring and get your nose dotted and be able to take it. It's hard.
It is hard. It's so hard that I can't do it, and I know I can't do
Yeah.
it. So I don't even try. So what I do is I gravitate towards finding, creating, establishing, and trading higher probability
Mm.
strategies. And that way, if I take a couple of losses, I know I'm a trade or two away from a win. Very high probability. And I probably haven't traded a 50-50 strategy in years. I could probably do it now, but I'm not going to try.
You're not. Why would you put yourself through that, Ryan?
Right.
He
Yeah.
always does this to himself. Don't do it.
I'm not going to.
A lot of trend following strategies actually are usually in the ballpark of like 50-55%
That's
Yeah.
right.
winners, and you can definitely improve on those. But they can be perfectly valid strategies. But man, you actually have a pretty decent probability of hitting like 10 losers in a row. Believe
Yeah.
it, they can happen with a
Yeah.
strategy
Yeah.
that's 50-50.
Statistically, it's 1 out of 1,000. So you
Right.
take 1,000 trades, at some point you're going to hit 10 losers in a
And
row
that's
on a
rough,
50-50
man.
shot.
And one would think in their head, right? I've got a 50-50 strategy. I'm going to get 5 losers in a row, but how is it possible to hit 10? Because they're thinking that 10, meaning half of that, how am I hitting 10 at that point?
Yeah.
But it can happen. And
Yeah.
it does wipe people out and they just quit. And
Yeah. And you know what? You know what else is not taken into consideration on that?
Hmm.
Market action.
Mhm.
If you have a bullish strategy
Yep.
that's 50-50 and historically tested at 50-50, and the market that you put it in is stagnant or bearish for the next 2 years, you ain't going to be 50-50.
Right.
Unless you're
And
Ryan,
so
who
Actually,
makes
that goes
money
with
even when he chooses the wrong direction.
this is why I do that, because I cannot choose
Every live trade
direction.
call, you're like, well, I chose the wrong direction, but I still made
Again.
again. We
Really, all
never
you can do is go to cash if you're very experienced. And then you can't make money in cash.
Yeah, you're going to
I
lose
mean,
money in cash
Right.
exactly.
because of inflation.
Yeah, that goes back to that. Yeah, if you're just getting into a trade and you're assuming you're going to win, but you have to assume that you're going to lose, or you're hitting at least the mid range of a drawdown.
Yeah.
To at least give yourself a psychological chance
Yeah.
to get
But
past it.
understanding the market dynamics that they
Mhm.
can skew your overall statistical probabilities,
Good and bad.
good and bad. Exactly. Yeah. One of the worst things that somebody can do is come in. A doctor did this. This was like 30 years ago, but a doctor comes in and he says, "Yeah, I had got into trading, bought a bunch of corn futures, doubled my $200,000 account in like 3 months. That was the worst thing that ever happened to me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he had this wrong idea
Mm-hmm.
now of what trading was. He had this overconfidence. Um, yeah, so sometimes it's better to start off losing a little bit.
I didn't.
It's
I was that guy too, man. I got lucky right in the beginning, and it gives you this false sense of security that,
Mhm.
wow, this is easy. What is everyone talking about? This is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what sucks
especially
for
with futures.
yeah, you know what sucks for me? I don't know if anybody's ever experienced this, but like when you're trading for a while and you're growing your equity, and then you slowly start to give it back
Mhm.
and you're back to break even, and then you kind of float around and you can't get past that high equity peak, and you're like, crap, I haven't really made a equity peak in 6 months.
Yeah.
I've experienced that, and you just can't teach it. Um, it just happens sporadically. It just can happen to where
Yeah.
you kind of trade flat for weeks or months on end, and you just got to survive. I know me and Ron have talked about that before. You've talked about it in your stuff about trading's about survival sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Got to survive. And you know what the average length a trader sticks with a strategy? We did a poll
yeah.
several years ago now. Thousands of traders.
Hold
Average
on, let's
length.
get a consensus here.
I've been
Okay.
a month
Okay,
How
total.
long?
Woody. How
What's
long
the
do you think
question?
the average length of time that somebody will stick with the same strategy?
Well, what kind of strategy are we talking
Doesn't
about?
matter.
Doesn't
Current
matter,
Across the
one?
board,
right?
because
That would
the
that would make a
answers were
difference.
from thousands of traders across
Uh,
all sorts of varying backgrounds and strategies and whatnot. So we're just going to lump it all together.
like time wise, how long do they stick with it time wise,
Yeah.
not trade numbers?
It's got to be about a month based on New Year's resolutions.
I want to say
Okay.
less than 6 months, right? So I say it's less than six. More, I'm thinking a little bit more in a month. So I'm going to go 2 months.
What do you got, Chad? What do you got?
Split the difference, 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
goodness, this is garbage.
All right, where
Yeah,
it is.
right.
Drum roll.
Now, granted, this is anecdotal. It's not like, we went and checked everybody. We asked the question, how long, if you go back in your history, how
Right.
long have you, what do you, would you say is the average length of time that you stuck with
3 or 4 months,
single
maybe. I don't know.
3 months.
Yeah.
3 months.
Actually, that's kind of surprising.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's
is
long,
what that is.
honestly.
That's insane for two reasons. One, I actually thought it would be a shorter period of time. But man, wow, 3 months.
So now, what do you think the number one reason was why they stopped trading it? This one might shock y'all as well. Go ahead, give me some. What do you think? Why'd they stop?
Lost interest.
Okay.
Or
I would
Yeah.
have to think by what I've come across.
It wasn't making money.
Right. You're losing money. The psychology side of it,
you
just
said
you
it's
ain't been-
shocking. It can't be losing money.
I didn't know if that
Look
was
at her. She listened to
sarcasm.
me. She
I
listened.
didn't know if he was being sarcastic. Like, it's
Oh
shocking.
no, he was
No.
serious.
No.
Oh, so it literally is surprising why they quit.
Well, it surprised
I need
me.
to hear the
Commitment.
surprise.
They found
They
something
didn't
else.
realize
It
they didn't
surprised me.
realize the commitment.
No.
Really? Okay.
Let's hear
Maybe
it.
they're
Let's
just
see what
squirrels.
Well,
They
so
wanna-
so let me back up. It surprised me when I saw it, but then when I thought about it, it made total sense. Because
Okay.
it's totally I've experienced it myself.
Okay.
They found something they thought was going to be better.
Oh, okay. A new
okay.
shiny object. Yeah.
New
That did
shiny
cross my
object.
mind, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And at first it shocked me. And then I'm like, you know what? This is me. I mean,
That is human psychology, though. No, it is. You're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It does
I
make
mean,
perfect sense.
and part of that is boredom,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
right? So, I'm not having fun, which, by the way, is a horrible reason to trade,
Right.
right?
I'm not having fun, man.
Oh gosh, I cannot believe how many traders come into this who treat it like gambling.
Because
Yeah.
it's fun to make money.
I think they like the adrenaline.
Maybe,
Really?
yeah.
I think they like the
Yeah.
adrenaline.
I
Absolutely.
mean, why do people skydive?
Well, yeah, but I mean, the risks of skydiving aren't that, they aren't that.
I don't know. You
nice.
could lose your whole life. Really.
I mean,
Well,
entire-
you can lose your whole life when you step outside.
Right.
I almost lost my
valid.
whole life stepping outside a year and a half
That's
ago now.
Yeah.
I didn't lose
Almost
almost.
2 years.
I'm exaggerating.
Well, you could have
But
splattered.
yeah,
your
no, I
skin.
absolutely could have hit my head.
Yeah.
I stepped outside my porch. You know why I stepped outside my porch, Spring?
No.
To go check the driveway because y'all were leaving. And I wanted to make
Look at that.
sure
Look at that.
Oh, it wasn't
Uh,
icy out while we were
that was-
Look at
driving.
that.
Yeah,
Looking out,
yeah.
man.
I wanted to
Aw,
make sure.
look
So
at him backwardly blaming me. Take
the
responsibility.
sacrifices the father makes.
Right.
So it was black ice, and I go immediately backwards and smack my butt on a concrete stair.
Mm.
And
And you guys,
I could have easily smacked the back of my head.
you should see this
Absolutely.
video though. It is the most
It's on
comical.
video.
Yeah.
It is
Oh, I was about to say,
wonderful.
we
It
actually have
was
live
bad
footage of
fall.
this.
I
It
felt
is on video.
horrible and yet didn't feel horrible for laughing so hard because it was so funny.
I crawled back in.
Yeah.
That was the best
Oh,
part.
Yeah.
Man.
I
Let's talk about the roof one later.
Oh my goodness, right? What is wrong with this man?
He's an innovator. That's what. He's trying to
Oh.
solve
Yeah.
problems. That's what he's trying to do.
Oh man, I don't know if
Oh.
anybody will ever follow a trade
Are
advice.
you sure
from
you
me
want to do this
again.
podcast, Ryan?
Spring knows too much. She knows too much.
She's got the
But-
keys to the ball, man.
Back to the point though. You can die. There's a million ways to die. Right. So you can get in a car and you actually have a much higher probability of dying from that than skydiving based on
Well, it's traffic more.
statistics.
Yeah.
I mean, one out of every 100,000 people skydiving, I think, is, or 2 or 3 maybe, something like that. I may be off on that, but what
That's
were we
too
talking
many.
about? What were we talking about? We were talking about
Why
Adrenaline.
traders quit or when they
Oh.
quit. Yeah, why they quit or
yeah,
change
and then I went to
Adrenaline.
something else too.
It was
Oh.
adrenaline.
Why traders? Oh, why
The
traders?
new shiny
yeah,
thing. Type of
the new
deal.
shine. Yeah, I don't know what I was saying actually. Now that we got off.
They're
Well, at least you got
bored
me
and they
thinking
need
that-
adrenaline, so they go to the next
Right.
strategy.
Do
Oh,
you
that's
right,
remember?
gambling. We're talking about gambling.
Do you remember this? We discussed this a while back. Another company did the poll, and they interviewed a bunch of traders. And what most traders wanted was an additional way to consistently make a living trading, or an additional revenue stream. That's what they all wanted. Welcome to the club, right?
Yeah.
But why they quit or decided they didn't want to do it is they found out that they didn't want to put in the time.
Yeah.
They didn't want to put in the time to learn it and the process.
Yeah,
So
everybody wants it
trading is
done for them.
right.
Yeah.
Ryan,
And
give
I-
me the strategy. Give me the. Will you just give me the trade alerts and make me, 6 figures a
Even
year?
then, they don't stick
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
here's-
but they are taking themselves out of the loop. I mean, let's just be
Yeah.
real honest. Most of these guys that want to do that know that they can't either commit the time, or they won't stick with it. They know themselves, and they're trying to fix the problem. So I can't fault them for wanting it done for
Oh,
them,
sure.
right?
Oh yeah, sorry if I was not inferring that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I was just adding that little tidbit there.
Yeah.
But no, we do find that, and what's funny is we're gonna make it easier for people to find a strategy
Mhm.
and then get bored with it, find another strategy, and then get bored with it. But we're actually going to feed the problem.
We're pretty.
We're catering to human nature.
You know what? I guarantee you, if we gave 100 traders the exact same trade signal with the exact same trading rules over 100 trades for 6 months, I would speculate that there would be 100 different results.
Yeah,
When you measure the volatility of the account, the growth of the account, the percentage draw, I bet there would just be all kind of different things.
You know what would fix that for anybody listening and you're wondering, I don't want to fall into that trap. I don't want
Right.
to fall into the well, there's a shiny new strategy that I just thought of, or one that I found from one of our community members, or maybe even one that Ryan might have created, or myself, or anybody else. Is start small with something that you find. So if you find 10 different strategies that have a positive expectancy, trade it very small, and just trade all of them if you can afford it. but trade really, really small. Because if you get bored of one, or if one's not working or stops working for whatever reason, then you could stop trading it. And if you do find another strategy that you like, add it. But you can't do it if you're trading too large.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's what I tell people when they run into this problem of switching here, switching there, switching here, switching there, not being able to follow something because they're bored. Maybe they don't think that, here's the signal. We're going to go buy. We're going to go long. Well, I don't think the market's going to actually go up. So I'm not going to take this one. That happens all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I tell people is, listen, we all have our biases. We've been watching the market. We have our feelings, and they're going to, come in and they're going to try and kind of dictate what we do and what we don't do. And what I say is, listen, if you find a strategy that you want to commit to, you've done the homework, you've made some trades, you can do it, you assign an account and you do it. Period. End of story. That's it. To kind of overcome that desire to not follow it or to find the others, find something shiny or whatever, more shiny, is have another account, and that's your throwaway account. And I kind of don't like to use that word throwaway account, but that's really what you're doing when you have a strategy. You've done your history, you've done your back testing, you've done your homework on it. Here's what the odds are. Here are the probabilities. Here are the drawdowns. Here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As soon as you start inserting your opinion into that, you change the statistical performance of that completely. And you don't even know by how much, right? So if I say, well, I'm not going to take a trade. Well, okay, if you didn't take that trade based on whatever reason that you had, every single time the trade came up and every time that reason also existed, you actually may have turned your system into a losing system and you don't even know it. Right? So if you've got an itch to make some other trades and the decision is, okay, I'm trading this in this account, but I don't like what I'm doing. I've got my own opinion on it, and even though it's working just fine, I've got my own opinion on it, so I'm going to change it. Don't change it. Go over here and trade your opinion and find out how quickly you're going to lose money. Yeah. More times than not, because there's nothing quantifying your opinion. You have nothing to go on. And some people are good at that, right? Some people have a gut. They've been watching the market for long enough that, their gut reaction actually is subconsciously, making a decision based on what they've seen. But most of the time, you just can't quantify an opinion. So if you can't quantify it, why in the world are you going to trump what is quantified, which would be a strategy that you've decided to trade? So that's a soapbox.
But it's interesting you mentioned that, because as you're speaking, I actually just placed a trade on the NQs, because I just feel like right now we're gonna just sell off into the close. But
yeah,
it just satisfies my itch for that small bit of. Now I haven't looked at this account in terms of am I actually profitable, but it satisfies my need to be in the market at this point in time.
And you may lose a little bit doing
Right.
that, but if it lets you trade properly in this other account, yeah,
Absolutely.
cost of doing business.
Yes, sir.
And overcoming your own self-destructive trading habits.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did mention we're gonna make it easy for people to find something, start trading it, and then find something else.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's hypocritical at all, because we're all, as long as you follow the advice, you can find something, start trading it. If you find something better, watch it, whatever. If there's quantified reason to switch the strategy, then, you can switch the strategy. But that's what TradeHound is going to be doing, is satisfying the itch to find something better, which there's nothing wrong. I want to make, in context, there's nothing wrong with trying to find something better than what you're doing. I do it every single day.
Which has led to your success. I have
It
no clue
has.
anything, and then you find, oh wow, this is amazing.
It has it because it's an obsession,
Yeah.
and I'm, a bit of a perfectionist. And in the markets, you're never going to be completely right. You're never going to pick the exact bottom. You're never going to pick the exact top. You're never going to, have get in at the exact lowest price, et cetera, et cetera. If you're in an option spread or whatever, you're not going to get out at the exact profitable price. You're always going to leave money on the table. You're always going to be able to do better in entry. So at some point it'll drive you insane. But I am a full advocate of always, 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 always improving what you can do. Learning, and the markets are always changing. So what you learned 10 years ago may not even be applicable today. It's another, situation. But TradeHound, that's what we're doing with TradeHound. What is TradeHound? I mean, what do y'all think about TradeHound? What we're doing with it?
ChatGPT for the markets. That's what I think of TradeHound.
So original, Spring. Thank you so much.
Well, TradeHound, like AI in general, it's an extension of your brain, right? To use AI effectively, you have to know how to prompt it. You have to know what you want to get out of it. If you're expecting it to do all the heavy lifting for you, then it's not going to work out. But if you have an idea, if you have a vision of what you want in your trading account, a strategy, a concept, or whatever, TradeHound can make it happen. And I think that's exciting. I think
even if you don't have a vision, TradeHound's going to be where it's at, because we're going to have all of these ideas that someone can explore, so that they don't have to, maybe someone's not an innovative thinker. They don't have the vision. They can find the vision with TradeHound too. So it's kind of a multi-faceted tool there.
So are you talking about find the vision because of the other users and the community that there'll be of hey, I found this idea, and then you can copy it and check it out.
I think there's going to be, what's interesting about that? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
There's just so many different kinds of minds, and I know like you two are very innovative. I think with how you just explore. Your brains can't help it. You love to find a successful strategy, and you have fun. You have fun with the market. That's what you do. But there are some people who their goal is just, I want to be profitable. I want to make some money. I want to make generational wealth, but I don't have the creativity to do this on my own. That's where TradeHound comes into play. It adds the creative brain to someone that might not have that kind of brain.
So you're like piggybacking off of somebody else's creative brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
On the flip side,
it's just like a hedge fund structure. I mean, it's just like a hedge fund structure. If you're working in a hedge fund, you have a portfolio manager. So you have a team of, quants, research analysts, macro fundamentalists, you got a whole team of people, that come together to form some sort of thesis, right? So it's almost like AI. You can bring in those brains all to one environment and start to form a hypothesis and get, build it out, versus having a whole team of people that are qualified to do that for you from a research standpoint, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I think it'll also create
a long time if you wanted to, but anyway.
I think it's also going to create a friendly competitive environment too. If you've got a member, for example, you just happen to stumble across some strategy that's working really well, it may empower someone to try to make something better, as going back to the new shiny new thing. And I think it's going to be a positive thing, really, because you can have both strategies. Let's say you have these two different members that come from completely two different backgrounds, but they have strategies that work in the markets, and you can tap into that. And it creates that diversification in your account versus just strictly hedging, which can be a little bit of a drag at times.
Yeah.
As long as they're not heavily correlated, and you enjoy both strategies, I think it'll create a good, healthy mix of competitiveness on top of that, to try to, I guess, in a way, outdo someone else's strategy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I try and do with my own strategy. I try and outdo what I just did. Right.
Yep.
And so, yeah, absolutely.
Can you guess who I'm gunning for? I'm gonna anything you make, I'm gonna try to do better.
And you know what? I've seen some trades where you've done that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
tried.
Yeah,
I
Well,
tried.
yeah.
we'll
So
bring there's a lot of different things that people might not be aware of that's out there. So with AI, it's pulling data. If data is public, you can pull it. If it's on the web, you can pull it. But there's some things that aren't public, and there's some things that are not in data. So if you have access to very intelligent people that come from different backgrounds in the trading space, having relationships with those people that we can talk with privately, we might be able to bring some of those things into TradeHound, and ask and
mhm.
implement them. Like I was sharing some stuff with Ben today privately, and I think he's kind of excited on some things that you can do. He might have been unaware that we could do it. And he's done some stuff that I wasn't aware too. So the whole
That's
thing
a
for me
really
in
good
this is
point.
we can all bring our networks and peer groups and experiences to our clients that hopefully will become our friends. And they'll share some ways of thinking and originality that we may not have been aware of.
Yeah,
So to create this ecosystem environment to help everybody. So it's pretty exciting, really, in my opinion. And we're just now getting started. So
yeah. So for those that don't know, I'm just going to give a just a really quick rundown of what it is. Because when people start seeing AI is not that old. I mean, the first LLM, large language model, was came out in 2018. I mean, that's 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And 2 years ago they were predicting that um, AI would be a certain point by 2025. It's like it's like blown all of the predictions away, right? So I know AI is the future of trading. Period. End of story. But the problem is that it's so new that people hear AI and they think, well, sometimes they don't know what to think, right? It's new, it's too complicated, it's whatever, because you have neural nets, right? That's really where it started. Is these neural nets were developed like back in 2003, I think was the first one that was created, and these learning models, et cetera, right? And so what we have had up until now
mhm.
is here's a trading strategy. Now, what I want you to do is make some changes to that trading strategy based on what the market has done, this and that and that. So it's been a very, confined um, data set, if you will. So I don't want anybody to come in here and think, okay, TradeHound.AI, that's way over here. It's not. It's funny. I was talking to my mom last night, Spring, and they were asking me, what we're doing. And I said, oh, well, we're fixing to launch an AI engine for the markets. And they're like, what? and my
What's
and I
AI?
said, well, you've Googled stuff, right? She goes, what's that? So my
And that's
mom
where the
doesn't even,
conversation.
and I said, you don't know what Google is? I am so posting this. People are going to know that my mom does not even know what Google
She totally
is.
knows. She just didn't know it was called Google.
She's heard of it. She doesn't have a clue what it actually does or
Huh,
doesn't
wow.
do. So,
It's shocking.
um, but anyway, this is not difficult. What we wanted AI to begin with is just you type in a question, whatever comes to your mind, type it in, and that's it. It's as simple as that. And it's going to give you a statistical analysis, right? So it can be that simplistic. Now, you can also be very, very complex with it. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to create the AI for the ChatGPT for the markets and do so within the framework of, okay, how can we leverage this technology to be most efficient to help traders not only find strategies but trade strategies through a series of things that we're going to be doing with it. But one thing that you won't be able to do this from the get-go, but it'll be very soon after we launch the first version of it, is if you don't have any ideas, you ask it to give you some. I mean, it's as simple as that. And then it will give you some ideas, and you say, "Oh yeah, I like that idea. Test it out." And so there's not going to be any shortage of ideas. And if you have a shortage of ideas, you just ask TradeHound to give you some ideas. So it's not so yeah, we've got the users, but you've also got the AI engine to give you. I have done this several times now, and gotten some trading ideas that I would have never thought of. And I've analyzed everything that's out there, or so I thought. But now, there's going to be there are going to be strategies that are uncovered that were literally uncoverable before. That's where technology is going, and it's going to be nuts. And I mean, we're just touching the tip of the iceberg. Where this thing will be in 5 to 7 years is mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. But we're at the beginning. We're excited for the launch. Hope everybody gets on board. There'll be a free version, so you can test it out and see how it works and see if it's something. And then the entry level, super cheap at $25 a month is what it's going to start off at. So no reason for anyone to not get involved when this is fully launched. We're just about to launch the beta version to a small group of traders. Version 1, we might be 3, 4, 5, 6 months out from actually releasing version 1, but we'll give access to the beta version as well. Just won't be quite the same. So anyway, wanted to segue into that and let everybody know, since we're going to be enabling people to do exactly what we say don't do.
But in a more efficient manner that has back testing and all of the statistics and data that they need, rather than just trusting a random voice.
Yeah. And just in a structured manner.
Yeah.
It's not about not finding the next new shiny thing. It's about doing it in a structured manner and not, cutting off your knees, cutting your legs off at your knees in order to, implement that new shiny object that you found out there.
Think of it as we're just creating trading junkies. We're kind of feeding that fuel for you guys to be creative in your trading
with greater results. That's the
right.
at the end of the day, that's the goal.
That's right.
Is to get better results.
Yeah.
Better efficiency. Better efficiency means better compounding. Better compounding means closer to generational wealth.
More better cars and homes.
Yeah, we're going there too.
Yeah.
It all compiles into one.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long do we? How much time do we have? I don't know if we want to get into a completely new topic.
I think we're in 40 minutes.
Oh, 40 minutes. Oh yeah, we've got time. We got time. So I want to talk a little bit about the option trade that I've got going on, because I think this is interesting for people. And I've already had questions about, whether you're going to be able to use TradeHound for options. And the answer is yes. As far as the option data is concerned, that probably won't be available on TradeHound for, I don't know, maybe another year, because there's just additional AI engine issues that we would have to build into the program to deal with options. But a lot of people trade options directionally, right? What's the most common marketing ploy out there for options?
Covered calls.
Well, covered calls is one of them. Huh?
A bull market.
Yeah.
There's a lot of neutrality out there. They usually sell strategies that are neutral
to beginners.
Right.
Buying a call.
What's marketed to?
Yeah.
Buy an option.
Yeah.
Buy an option.
Right.
And I'm like, the fastest way to lose your money, right there. The most consistent way to lose your money is to buy options. And because most people don't realize how they work, and most of them would actually be fine if they didn't hold on until expiration. And that's one of the big secrets of option trading is if you're going to be long, which is being long time decay, which means you've got time working against you, which is another thing about, probabilities and statistics and market direction. And I'm going to get off on some rabbit trails, guys. But
Put on the boots.
Look at the time.
Put on the boots here. We're going for a walk.
Is that if I am playing a market direction, right, I'm going to be 50-50 unless I'm got an edge somehow. I've uncovered an edge, whatever, whatnot. But generally, you're going to be 50-50. And so you have those probabilities. You can work with those probabilities, hang on to your winners, cut your losses short, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? With options, if you just buy an option, you have the most constant, for sure event that will always and ever happen with 100% certainty working against you, which is time decay.
Time decay.
Time will always work against you if you're an option buyer. And so one of the things that I like to do is to figure out, okay, how can we be long the market without being long time decay? I should I share my screen here? Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Give it a go. Yeah.
Let's
see.
Let me see if I can. Let's see. Well, something is preventing me. Oh, no, I can't.
I gave you the capability.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to throw a trade up here. Let's see. Whoops. Maybe. I might throw a trade up here. Oh, there it is. All right, so share, blah, 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 blah. I know, I gotta.
So much wisdom.
Well, now it's not working because my Zoom window disappeared. There it is. Share. I'm going to screen 5. All right, y'all let me know if y'all can see my screen here.
There we go.
All right, so you can see that one. I'm going to pop this one up here. All right, so the trade that we're going to focus on is this one right here. And it actually is missing one of the legs, and I'll explain that here in a second. But this is essentially a long position in SPX using options with no negative time decay. In fact, it has positive time decay. And what that means is that if the market stays the same, I actually can make a little bit of money. So I have a little bit of positive time decay, and ultimately I am long the market. And not only that, but I'm long the market, and I have very little risk on here. So on this trade, it's an $11 debit, right? And in SPX, that means it's risking $1,100, which means if SPX goes to zero, which, by the way, the contract is like $665,000 is what one SPX contract is worth. So if SPX goes to zero, I don't lose $665,000. I lose $1,100. Okay, so that's the first thing. I've got a limited risk here. Now, there is one other trade that I put on here that is going to increase that to actually $10,000. And so my risk originally when I put this trade on was $10,000 if the market goes to zero. If the market stays the same, I make $400. If the market moves up, I make a pretty decent profit. And it's unlimited. The profit potential is unlimited because I have net long one call option here. All right, so this is going to get complex and maybe a little bit too complicated for most watching this if you're not familiar with my trading style. So I'm going to apologize from the beginning that it might just be a little bit complex, but it's something that you absolutely should explore. All right. So first of all, this trade is made up of two legs here. This is what I call this 1-2 is actually a net short because I'm long one and I'm short 2 calls. And the expiration of my short is actually after my long, which is a big no-no generally in spread trading. But we get around that, and one of these days we'll talk about how we get around that. But I don't have to get around it here because I have this third leg. And originally, this third leg actually had two. It was long 2 of the 1017 667 calls from the same price. I bought them at the same time along with these other 2 legs. All right, so this is what's called a synthetic long, where you are long the market, you have limited risk if the market goes against you, and if the market stagnates, you actually make money. If I were to simply buy a call, let's say I just buy the 1017 667 call, and the market was trading at about 665-ish when I did this. If you just buy the 667 call, it's going to cost you $8,895. And this is basically at the money. And the day of entry is 9/20, 9/19, right? So 9/19, day of entry. By 10/17, if the market goes nowhere, I lose $8,895 on this trade, which is why you don't want to just buy call options if you are long the market. That's a big no-no. But what I did here is I added 2 legs that create the same risk essentially, because the net cost of this was actually $99, which translates into $9,900 based on 100 shares. So my max risk was $9,900, which is not much more than what this was if the market crashes. Okay. The difference is if the market stays the same, I don't lose a bunch of time value. I actually make time value. And so if the market moves up, this is 1 long, 2 shorts, and then there were 2 longs. That means that I am net long 1, right? So 1 long, 2 shorts, they cancel out. I'm net, I'm even on that one. But I had an extra long here that made me net long 1. But I'm paying for the time value. With the other legs, I'm paying for the time value. And that's what I'm trying to get across here, is that you've got to find a way, if you're going to trade options, you've got to find a way to pay for that time value, because that's going to eat away at your account over and over and over and over and over again. So that's this one. I'm not going to really go into a lot of details of why the strikes are where they're at, and what happens if the market moves down. I mean, eventually, if the market moves down enough, you're going to lose all $99 of this, which translates to $9,900. But it's better than being long the SPX, where you're risking $665,000 if the market actually, if the market goes to zero, we've got other problems to worry about. All right, granted that. So I'm just being, giving a hypothetical here. So anyway, long, if you want to be long, you got to find a way to pay for the time decay. And if you don't take anything else, that's a complicated. It's really not that complicated. It just is for most, because traders are used to the standard iron condors,
Right.
credit spreads, debit spreads, and so a lot of people, it's not that hard to understand, but because it's not where the industry goes, it's new to like almost every trader. I don't care how many times have we had 30-year experience option traders come in and say, I've never seen anything like this.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
and it's because I didn't read books about option trading.
Okay, can I clarify
Yeah.
a non-option trader
Yeah.
understanding? So what my brain, how it connected it is, I looked at it from a business standpoint of pre-sales. So are you pre-selling to pay for your
Hmm.
ultimate product, I guess you could say, with your short, long. And
He's-
then does that
Yeah, I
does
guess
that make
that's
sense?
Yeah, it's
That's-
fair, right? Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's a fair assessment.
Okay, so you're making up what you have to spend
He's giving
beforehand
himself,
so
he's
that you're
buying
risking
himself some
nothing.
time.
buying myself some time.
That's pretty
Okay.
good.
And not only buying myself some time, but making money if
Right.
the market doesn't move up and all that happens is time passes. So when I say, okay, you're going to buy an option, right? And you got time decay working against you. What you'll notice if you go back to that, is that the long option was the expiration of the long option was 10/17.
Yeah, I
Basically
was gonna touch
a
on that. I was
month
gonna ask you
away.
about that.
Yeah. So that's a month away.
Right.
Whereas my two short options, all right, so I'm long time decay on my long option, which means that I lose time decay.
Mhm.
And I'm short time decay on my two short options. Right. And so what I did there is the time decay on further away options over the next week is much slower,
Mm.
much slower. And my short options expired on 9/24, which was 2 days ago. On that particular trade was 2 days
Okay,
ago.
so why even do the long option?
I want to
The
be long.
10/17.
I want to be long net. I wanted to be
Ah.
long the market. And so if I'm going to be long the market, I have to go further out in time with the long option.
Mm.
And if I want to pay for the time decay, I use the shorter term options to do that. And that
So
way, yeah.
yeah, so for any of the, because we all know Ryan loves the Greeks, doesn't he? He doesn't, and he actually is. He's just so you guys know, I've always studied the Greeks. I think they're great and all that, but Ryan doesn't, and he still blows me away as to his understanding of time decay. It's actually quite fascinating. But for anyone who is Greek, influenced, he's basically giving himself theta in his account, so it allows him to hold the position longer and give the position time to work. So he's not taking a huge amount of risk to the downside if he's wrong. He's not taking any risk really if the position stays where it's at, and then if it moves up, he can look at exiting the position at his gain. So that's theoretically pretty much what he's doing. He's keeping his long delta and keeping his theta in place to make that delta work for him.
Yep. In fact, with my two longs that were at the money, both of those are 50 deltas, right? And so by having two longs at the money, I have essentially a one delta until the market starts moving up and those become more and more in the money. Eventually, that becomes a two delta trade. So for every one, what that means is for every 1 point that the market moves up, I make 2 points.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a one delta on this trade with my two longs. The only question is, what about the other two legs? And so that cuts into that a little bit, but still, eventually, it becomes a one delta. And so I'm 1-to-1 with the market. But these aren't long-term plays.
Right.
And they don't have to be because I'm going to make $200-300 if the market stays the same every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
By the way that I do this. So anyway, that we probably went a little more
probably
into the weeds on the first episode of our podcast than maybe we should have. But you know what? If it gets people to start thinking, hey, you can't just say, oh, I made 400%. And this is what I was going back to earlier. Is the biggest marketing baloney out there towards new traders, especially new option traders, is, oh, look, I bought this option. I made 700% in 4 days.
Yeah.
Right. And I've done that and I can do that, but I don't do it just buying options. I do it with what I call the cash flow covered calls, which you mentioned, Chad. And maybe we'll get into that. Maybe that's an easier segue into how I approach the option world for next time.
So you guys saw the end goal there with this trade, and now we're going to start small and more simple.
Start with SPY.
This is where you could be, but not yet.
And a spoiler alert: the coverage calls, Ryan's synthetic cover call strategy is actually quite interesting. I think you had an example, which we'll touch on next time, Ryan, with Tesla.
Yeah.
And I remember you were going through your Tesla trade with that, and that was always a really good one. It's a good nugget. It's a good way to, I guess, explore that particular strategy's strengths. So
you know what? I think we'll do that next time. I'm going to actually go through the Tesla trades next time, and not mine. We're gonna go through somebody else who interpreted my cash flow covered calls and made Tesla trades, and we're going to go through each one of those, and I think you did a great job of demonstrating exactly what I try and teach in those sessions. So
sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should probably end this one here. And people's brains might be blowing up. I don't know. If you're got a lot of experience in option trading, you probably saw what was going on there, and that's great. But if not, keep coming back. We'll cover some more next time. All right, guys.